Welcome back. And this is the part 2 of our Helm series. We have created a video earlier on the Helm, which discuss about the various topics that we are going to learn within the Helm. And this is part 2. If you have not watched our previous part, I will suggest you to go and watch that. This is Ankit, and we are going to discuss about the introduction to Helm in this video. So we are going to generally explore Helm, what are its uses, why we need to use Helm, and so on. So if you know about this, I will suggest you to move to the next part. If no, then stick to it and complete this video, and then you can move ahead. All right, so let's start with the introduction to Helm. Helm is a package manager. And now, when I say package manager, just like you have a package manager in Linux, which allows you to install the various packages that you need to use over the Linux operating system, similar type of package management you can deploy over the Kubernetes as well. Now, why we need to use this Helm as a package manager? The reason is this allows you to create templates, which simplifies your deployment and the management of the application within the Kubernetes cluster. Now, if you are not using Helm, then you are going to write the different YAML files like the replication controller deployment file, creating configure map, creating secrets, right? So you need to then organize them and deploy them one by one, which is going to increase significant amount of time. So and it will be more difficult, and it will increase the number of steps that we have to perform in CI/CD deployment. So in order to solve all this problem, the Kubernetes has created Helm, which allows you to create it as a package. And the significance is that once you have that package, you can simply deploy that package using the Helm. So even like you can share it with the other folks, which we are going to discuss ahead, how to do that. But the idea is that once you create a package, you can distribute it, which allows you to simply install it. This actually improves your overall speed and the way that you are going to manage the application. And it does incline with the principle of the containers as well, which signifies that you can run the application without going into nitty-gritty details of it. You already have a pre-built image you can deploy across your Kubernetes cluster and start using it at a very small period of time. So no longer you have to waste your time in installing and configuring and those kind of things. Helm greatly optimize that for you. So that is one of the major reason why the Helm is used so significantly in Kubernetes. Now, if we talk about the Helm, we need to have the understanding around how you can use Helm as a package manager, configure it, and deploy it easily across your Kubernetes cluster. It provides you an easy to use and automated way in Kubernetes. Now, this is something we already discussed. Otherwise, you will be doing it manually, which will consume a lot of time. And it automates your repetitive stuff, because otherwise you will be keep applying the changes in your YAML file, which is consuming your time and waste a lot of resources, right? So we don't want to go that part. That's why we are going to use Helm for the deployment, which automates all this step and uses a single command line, and you can install entire application without worrying about the different YAML files that you are having to deploy across your Kubernetes cluster. Now, if you want to get started with the Helm, you need to have the basic understanding about the chart and its anatomy. Okay, now what are charts? So basically, charts contains your files and directories which are required for the deployment inside your Kubernetes. So you can use these charts to deploy your application inside your Kubernetes cluster. Now, it is having a specific structure. Whenever you are going to create the Helm charts, it has a specific structure. That is, you are going to create what is known as charts.yaml. Then you need to create a templates directory and values.yaml file. And you can additionally add readme file. This charts.yaml file which you are going to create, it basically contains the metadata about your chart. Like it will contain the version of the chart so that you can improve it over a period of time and keep changing these versions. And it will also include the name of the chart through which you are going to maintain those charts overall, right? So these are the things that you can expect inside the chart.yaml configuration file. Then there are templates. Now, whenever we talk about this templates directory, it contains your Kubernetes YAML file which defines your Kubernetes object. So all the different types of config map, deployments, those kind of YAML files which you have created for your application, they will go inside this templates directory. And lastly comes your values.yaml file. So these values.yaml file are used to define the default values that you want to your chart to be assigned, right? This is only for defining the default values, but you can override this, right? Depending upon your application requirement, you can override using your during the installation. You can use -- set for that we are going to discuss ahead. For now, just understand that using values.yaml file, you can override the values whenever you are installing the package using the Helm itself. Okay. Now, there is additionally README file, which basically contains the metadata about your application, how about that Helm chart has been written, what are the considerations, what are the important things you need to keep in mind. It's always a good practice to include the README file. That is going to help you a lot when you are looking back at the packages after a period of time, which you might have forgotten when you have initially written, right? So it also helps as a documentation for the other folks who are going through your package and have a requirement for installing the application using those packages. Now, moving ahead, we are going to, how do you perform the installation of Helm? For that, it's very simple. You need to just go onto the Helm website and select your distribution. And there is a package which is available, so you can simply download it. Now, the latest version of the Helm will be Helm 3. So you can directly, it's a binary file. So you can run the command, which I have shared below. Using this curl command, you can get the Helm 3 binary and install it. Once you have installed the Helm, you can interact and verify that the Helm has been successfully installed using Helm version command. If this Helm version command gives you an output, that means Helm has been successfully installed. And then there is a init command through which you can initialize the Helm. Now, if you are creating using the service account, which allows you to use the certain permissions with the Helm, so you can use the Helm create service account namespace kube system tiler, and similarly you can add the cluster role and the service account. This way you can control the what permissions the Helm are having, and that way you can install and control or the application who is going to have what level of control. So those are the things using the Helm that you can do. Now, if you choose how to deploy Helm, there are basically two ways of deploying the Helm, right? One is your standalone deployment, in which you are going to download and install the Helm locally, like just we discussed. We download the binary and install on our Kubernetes cluster, right? Deploying the Helm, we can also deploy Helm using the RBAC. Now, Kubernetes provides you this RBAC. RBAC stands for role-based access control, right? So you can, it's basically used for the authorization. So it provides the authorization APIs, which helps you determine the resources which a user has access to, right? So what level of access a user is having. Depending upon that, they can use the Helm. And since Helm requires RBAC enabled in your Kubernetes cluster, so depending upon the permissions which are assigned, the operations can be performed by the user. Now, dealing with the Kubernetes object and metadata can be challenging, which is where Helm comes into the picture, right? So it basically helps you automate, manage everything as a package, provides a single command installation. So that is why you will find that Helm is so widely used in the organizations. All right, so that's all for our topic one, that is the introduction of the Helm. I hope you have a good insights in the Helm now, how to install it, what are the various ways of installation, what problem does it solve for you, and so on. So this takes us to the end of the topic one. Now, that's all for this video, and we are going to continue in our next video, and we are going to discuss more about the Helm ahead. All right. So if you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel, and look out for my next video to continue your learning all over the Helm. Thanks.